All right, guys. We all know hindsight is 20/20.
2.
Now he's gonna breathe even louder.
Listen, you guys, we know what you're thinking. Oh my God, Guntosh, you're making such low effort content right now. Well, why are you complaining? Why are you complaining that you were getting a free video that you can watch right now? That otherwise you would just have no video to watch right now. So shut up. Shut up.
As we all know, hindsight is 20/20.
2.
And as Gun Thoughts, we have made some mistakes in our reviews.
Nope.
Psych! We have never ever been wrong. We have
Never.
always been right. We were right about everything, and you can basically stop this video right now because we were
Yeah.
right and we stand by everything we've said in the
You
past.
can call us the Nostradamuses of GunTube, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
But what we want to do is we want to go through some of the guns that we have reviewed, and we want to see where they are now.
How do they all stack up? We're kind of tired of you guys DMing us on Instagram being like, but which upper should I actually get? I'm confused because you weren't holistically positive about everything in the review, and now I think that you think it was bad. So we're gonna like bring it all in here. We're gonna talk about some 5.56 uppers. We're gonna rank them in a tier list for you, and yeah, that's what this video is about. We're gonna bring this in strategically right now. Good. Hold it lower. I don't think they can see the top. Actually, they can probably see it. Gun Thoughts tier list is what this says right here. We've got, here, can you help us with this? Point to these as I tell you about them. So we've got S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, D tier, and trash tier. And we are gonna rank the uppers that we have reviewed
What does
right here.
S stand for?
Super good.
Super duty.
It's even better than A. It's super good. All right, get it out of here.
Siamese.
But first, upper number 1, where it all began.
The Roskizzy.
The Roscoe, 11.5.
Where is that? Oh yeah.
You
Gone.
sold it?
Sold. Gone.
Yeah, I sold it to a friend for $100, I think, and
It still works though.
it works great. It's still super punchy and not fun to shoot, and I personally don't enjoy shooting it.
Yeah, but the remarkable thing is,
It still
does
works.
not die.
But it's also maybe only shot 100 rounds in a year.
yeah, true.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, it's just sitting there now.
Hey, buddy, if you're watching this, let's go shooting. I think it works, so it's probably like
So it's not trash tier because it works.
it's probably B or C tier.
B or C tier. I think it's like
Mid. It's pretty mid.
in between them.
Ooh, should we just make tiers that are like slaps? Mid.
All right. So we paused for a minute because we realized, you know,
Our metrics
that was a
were
pretty
good.
yeah, it was a pretty basic tier list. It was like pretty easy to understand. So you know, we revised it a little bit. So we can just put this down here a little bit. You can peek over the top, please. There we go. So Gun Thoughts tier list now. Bussin, slaps, valid, mid, cope, parentheses, seethe, and we kept the most important tier of all, trash. To begin at the beginning, where it all started, the Roscoe 11.5. As we mentioned, it has been sold. However,
I still see it. It's like a dog on a farm, you know?
Yeah.
Occasionally go visit it.
or like a
See
kid
it.
that you gave up to the system.
Yeah. See him on the news occasionally.
Yeah.
So, and it still works though.
I would
It wasn't very good.
It wasn't very good.
Yeah.
Valid or mid for me.
What about you? You don't know.
Mid. Also, I think I forgot our tier without looking at it.
I think we're gonna put it like, it's like mid, but like it's almost valid. So we're gonna do that.
Mostly
like-
just because it's a good value.
It's like crooked in there because it's trying to be valid, but it's still mid.
Yeah, it's a
For you
little.
boomers out there, that's B or C. class, on the original class.
It's not. No, don't explain it to them. They don't need. They don't need help.
For you boomers out there,
Learn. Adapt.
there should be an ad on the side that says "Meet local singles." Ooh. BCM.
BCM. So,
Bussin for real.
for those of you that weren't there, what did BCM tell us when the barrel
Let's
did not
recap.
work?
Yeah, basic recap is the barrel shot like 5 to 6 MOA basically out of the box. I sent it back to them. They told me everything was fine and I was a trash shooter. And
Which is true.
Which is true. But,
But everything wasn't fine.
everything was not fine.
Yeah.
Eventually, they said there were like a bunch of little cracks in it and from heating, and I had shot it too much. And the TDP says you're only supposed to shoot in semi-auto a certain rate or whatever. They basically just like tried to gaslight me into saying you can only shoot an AR so fast. And I just was over it. I asked for a refund, and they were super passive aggressive about it and just gave me a refund eventually. So that is the one positive, is you can get your money back from BCM. I know a lot of people have good experiences with them. I personally did not, and I would probably never buy an upper from BCM personally. For me, BCM is probably gonna go Cope and Seethe and
But
trash.
it's like it's low. It's like almost in trash.
Yeah.
though.
yeah.
Yeah.
What about you guys?
Yeah, I agree.
mean, yeah, I witnessed all of this, and it was pretty. The customer service was definitely trash. The upper, like, it worked, so it wasn't like entirely trash. It was Cope and Seethe. So yeah, this is pretty good.
Yeah, for how much clout BCM has to have an experience like that, definitely Cope and Seethe. What?
Get your head up more.
I can't.
PSA. So, for those of you that saw it, we had 2 PSAs in the PSA video. We had ye old, what was that?
Don't worry about it.
I didn't see it. Ye old 20-inch M16 A4. So sick.
It's A2 clone correct.
Oh yeah, A2 clone correct
From Vietnam.
era hex mags.
This is my clone correct M16 A2 Vietnam era rifle. $270 on sale at PSA, plus $40 for an Anderson lower. Throw it together at home after 7-8 beers, good to go. Comes with clone correct Brownells mags, as well as Vietnam era hex mags, which is what you're gonna wanna run in these guns. Again, 100% clone correct M16A2.
So
People are still commenting like, they do the hex mags, man. They only have 20 round mags. They don't have 30 round mags.
So the 20-inch PSA, where does that go? As we remember, the front sight, well, it pretty f***ed up. The everything else, you know, pretty f***ed up, but it works and it's still here.
It still exists, mostly because I'm too lazy to sell it, to be honest. But this thing probably does have like 5,000 or 6,000 rounds on it, and I just lend it to people if they want to have an AR for whatever reasons.
And it looks cool.
And it looks cool, right? It's classic. And it's a 20-inch barrel.
Good
so-
for his reenactments.
Yeah.
think
As
it's
a very regarded, highly regarded PSA expert, where do you think it belongs on the tier list?
I believe that my products belong in mid because they definitely don't work so goodly.
That's true.
But you know, you're not coping and seething because you paid a lot for it.
That's true.
I would put it, yeah. I would put it solidly in the mid category.
Yeah. The other one was the 16-inch Disappointer, is I believe what it was called, because it was mid-length gas system pretending to be rifle-length gas, and it had a gas block that would self-adjust to like turn the gas off. I'm not sure why it did that, but you know, it's a feature.
On demand.
Yeah. Definitely pretty mid, and also sold and gone.
I would put that in the mid Cope and Seethe category.
It's like, it's like a
You
little
bought
bit worse.
you bought
It
a
is little bit
budget
worse.
clone correct thing, and it just is
And it-
neither of those things.
Yeah, it's just bad.
And there's a lot of people coping and seething in the comments too. So
Right. Sons of Liberty Gun Works.
this is one of the few uppers on this list, of the 3 uppers on this list that still kind of are around, and this is it right here. This has like 7,000 or 8,000 rounds on it now. It still works.
Still overgassed.
Still a little overgassed. I never clean it. It's I've gotten pretty good at shooting it. I don't really mind how
In his
overgassed it
opinion.
is.
But just as a note, this gas port size is no longer the one that's on there, 12.5. It's better now. Also, Mike is a really cool guy.
He is.
We've had really good conversations with him. He actually is really passionate about his products as well as just like Second Amendment issues in general. So
That's gonna land him pretty high.
I think it's going to land him.
Almost bussin'.
It's like up there in there somewhere. Like this upper is not bussin', but it works pretty good. It's been solid. It could slap a little bit, and Mike is bussin', so it gets extra points.
I would personally put the upper somewhere between slaps and valid, and I would put the company in general somewhere between bussin' and slaps.
Yeah.
Mike is a cool dude. After we put that video out, he actually called us and kind of talked to us about it. We sent it in. We had good conversations with their employees personally, with Mike personally. So all in all, I really, really trust everything Sons of Liberty puts out. If I were to buy an upper for myself and not to destroy on video, I would probably buy a Sons upper, honestly.
Yeah, good value too.
Yeah, I agree. I think that the value that you get out of a Sons of Liberty upper is definitely probably one of the best on the market right now. You can get like a built upper receiver with a BCG and a charging handle for like under $1,000.
They also actually test all of their BCGs too, which is cool. So yeah, Sons of Liberty, bussin', this upper specifically, somewhere between slaps and valid.
Weasel.
The Weasel, yo.
Oh, that's my job. So the Weasel's still around.
Well, you're unemployed now, bitch.
The Weasel's still around.
The Geisley, for those of you who are
Yeah, for those
Who
of you
don't
who are
understand
accused-
jokes?
who
Yeah,
are extremely literal
Yeah.
and like organizing things and patterns and stuff like
and
that.
are writing mean comments right now about
Yeah.
how this free content that we're making for you on a Thursday night is too low effort.
Hey, just go climb under your weighted blanket and call it a day.
It's still around. It's still just about as accurate as it was. In the past month or so, I've had a couple weird issues, but I also have not been cleaning it at all. So who knows what that is, but I've still been shooting matches with it, and I like it, and it's good. However, the price for these uppers has almost doubled. I just saw Geisley has one on sale, a 14.5 on sale for the low price of $1,100, marked down from $1,200. So that's gonna put them, the company, as a valid to mid.
Put the upper where you think it should be.
I'm gonna put it like
upper
right
is-
here, just slightly below Sons of Liberty, but just for the company. The upper itself is better than that upper, but the company is mid.
Let's say the upper, the Geisley upper by itself is somewhere between bussin' and slaps.
Yeah, I agree.
The one that I have,
But Geisley, the company, solidly
Cope and Seethe.
within Cope and Seethe.
Yes.
Custom 13.7, you guys might have seen that little mini video we did. I know that quite a few of you actually tried to clone that build, which was interesting to see. So that's still around. I still like it. It's still good. I never shoot my rifles anymore. I only shoot my Beretta. But like if I were gonna shoot my rifles, I would shoot that one. And I would say that like it's good, but you can't buy one off the shelf. So it is like it's up here with these guys. I'd say like somewhere up there. It's just like a little bit more work to get this because you have to sort of put it together yourself, piece it together, figure out like that exact setup. I'd put it right there.
I have the exact 14.5 barrel that needs to be cut down still, and I have been too lazy to do it.
Yeah.
So if you could buy it off the shelf, that would be awesome. But again,
you can't because it's custom.
Yeah.
That's why we wrote custom.
Interestingly, all of these are each of our go-to uppers right now.
Yeah.
So there's no bias here at all.
Well, that just means that they're good.
By them, not us. By
We're so objective that we only use the uppers that we think are good.
Yeah.
Can you guys believe that?
And now finally, we have
Highly controversial.
the Hodge.
To be completely fair to you guys, we sent the Hodge upper off to get gauged and checked out and made sure we did everything right assembling it.
Third-party testing.
Because we know that, we didn't use the special Hodge upper, we didn't use the secret sauce, yada, yada, yada. There's always, you can never have the perfect Hodge upper. If it doesn't work, it's your fault. It's definitely not the manufacturing issue.
The question that I'd pose to you guys is, if they don't want you to assemble your own upper with that barrel, why do they sell the barrel a la carte?
Honestly, if the Hodge barrel worked, I would put it a little bit higher.
Yeah, if it worked, it would be valid.
Yeah, it would
Because
be,
it's too expensive for what it is. Let's be honest. It's a chrome-lined FN barrel. It's made to shoot M855A1. Where are we going to get lots of M855A1? We're not going to get lots of M855A1. Like it worked. If it worked good with the other ammo, it could be like up here somewhere, but it did not work good. So it's like,
I would say Hodge is in Cope and Seethe.
Yeah,
because
it's Cope
that's
and
if you
Seethe.
just look through the comments in that video, it's all literally people just doing fucking 10.1 difficulty mental gymnastics trying to get out of the Hodge barrel worked good.
I mean, we're happy that yours works good for you because you probably spent quite a bit of money on it, and like,
Yeah, it's an expensive thing to.
we're glad that it works. We didn't want it to not work.
In fact, we wanted it to work.
Yeah.
I was actually hoping to use to replace this upper with that Hodge upper, but
That Hodge barreled upper.
bonus, we have something that we've never done a video on that was sort of the impetus for Gun Thoughts.
The impotent of Gun Thoughts.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
Boom.
PWS.
Yes.
A lot of people have asked us whether or not we like PWS. It is trash. Avoid that company at
Yeah,
all
we get
costs.
that question so often. When are you guys gonna review a PWS? Why haven't you reviewed PWS? I love PWS, Gun Thoughts. Please love PWS.
It's right there.
And we will not be explaining ourselves.
Well, we could explain it. Explain it.
We could. Okay. So I bought their 11.85 upper.
Why is it such a weird number?
I don't know.
Okay.
You'd have to ask them in Europe or something.
Anyway, moving
Aren't
on.
they in Idaho?
Yeah, but
Doesn't matter.
it doesn't matter. And I got it, and it was not accurate with at all. Not even to a reasonable degree with ball ammo. And I'm definitely not saying that 55 grain should be 1 MOA, but it was literally printing 6 or 7 minute groups. And after a few back and forths where they said nothing was wrong, and I
tried to gaslight him.
I would bring it back
He was a terrible
and-
shooter.
with different scopes, benched, bagged, and it was just shooting like shit still, and 2 minutes with match ammo. I finally asked for a refund, and over the course of 3 weeks, the refund was not showing up, so I would call and they would say it's still on the way, and it finally came down to having to call someone else in the company to get the refund, and it was posted that day. So,
Well,
you know,
they also tried to tell you that they had never received the upper, despite having like acknowledged
Yes.
that they had received the upper. So,
when I
like,
finally spoke to the other person in the company, they said that they did not have my upper, which I had sent back to them 3 weeks prior. And
which they had acknowledged in a different communication from a different person.
so, you know, kind of a shit show. And I think the worst part was that in all of the media that I had consumed before,
Yeah.
everyone had said PWS had the best customer service,
Yeah.
and they were a company that you could trust, and that was not our experience, not my experience at all.
So the moral of the story is trust no one. Mm-hmm. Parentheses, except gun thoughts.
Yep.
I have to point this out. My absolute favorite part of the PWS saga is when this boomer dude shot groups with his upper to prove that it worked, and he shot them at like 25 yards, and he circled like 2 of the 5 shots, and he was like, flyers. And then, these 3 are, this is 1 MOA though, and it's
Yeah.
like, that's very clearly 5 MOA, but,
Those
and
were-
10
those
MOA
were
if you include the
flyers.
flyers.
We went
Yeah.
so far as to him doing a ladder test just to see if we could get anything out of it. But no, we couldn't.
What's the ladder test? Explain it to them.
Making a bunch of different loads of different variables basically to make the gun as accurate as possible with whatever load you develop. And
And it just was not.
no.
Oh, also the piston would seize up if it got too hot, so that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did a sick tactical class, and the piston just locked up. So,
Very tactical of it.
so tactical.
Yeah. Gun Thoughts tier list final rankings of all the uppers that we have made videos on. Just under Bussin, we've got the Sons of Liberty, partially because Sons of Liberty is a Bussin company. The Geisley upper is like, it's between Bussin and Slaps.
But only that upper.
Right, the Geisley company, Cope and Seethe.
Yeah.
Custom 13.7 build based on a Daniel Defense barrel cut down. It's like between Bussin and Slaps. The upper is Bussin, but it's hard to attain this because you have to make it yourself. So it can't bus because you can't buy it off the shelf.
For real.
Nothing ended up in valid tier really. Roscoe's like trying to creep up there, but it's still kind of mid because it kind of sucked.
PSA 20-inch is mostly mid, but
Yeah.
creeping up on valid a little bit. PSA disappointer is solidly in the mid category.
Even like sort of sliding down into Cope and Seethe because of the fact that the gas block would just randomly sometimes rotate and make the gun stop working.
On God.
The Hodge barrel that we put in an upper, we didn't do the right dance or whatever to make the barrel work. So it's definitely in Cope and Seethe. Yeah.
Yeah, and as we said before, Geisley, the company, solidly in Cope and Seethe. BCM, really just sliding down into trash based on our customer service experience. And PWS, lifted up a little bit for us, bringing up the rear, solidly in trash tier. As you can see, there's a little waste bin right here, and we're just gonna put the PWS in there because that's where it goes.
You guys might notice there is no upper truly in the bussin' category.
Because we're still on the quest to find the most bussinest upper.
For real, for real.
So if you guys have a super bussin' upper recommendation, leave it in the comments below for us to ignore, and we will buy whatever we want and test that instead.
No cap.
No cap on God.
Dead ass. There's just so many boomers out there having little strokes. This gun's from Vietnam.
This one specifically.
Yeah, that front sight post.
Oh, it's bent. Just stop throwing this so much.
You look comfy back there. Make sure to speak loudly so that they can hear you.
No. Eat him on. Uh-oh. and then it drops.
That's it?
That was it.
That's all
Sorry.
you got?
Sorry, everyone.